Every year, 2.3 billion cans of Pringles are sold worldwide, generating over $3 billion to meet that huge demand. Giant harvesters collect tons of potatoes. But how are 10 million chips made each day? We visited the Pringles factory to discover how one of the most famous snacks on the planet is made. Pringles were created by Frederick Baer, a chemist at Procter & Gamble in the 1960s. He decided to tackle a common problem among potato chip lovers. Traditional chips were too greasy, broke easily, and the bags were half empty and full of air. But it wasn't until 1965 that Baer designed the perfect chip. His task was simple but challenging: create a chip that was uniform in size and shape, wouldn't break during shipping, and absorbed less oil during frying. After months of research and development, he had an innovative idea. Instead of slicing and frying whole potatoes as had always been done, he decided to make them from potato puree. The result was a true innovation: a crispy, tasty, and perfectly stackable chip. Its signature saddle-like shape, known as a hyperbolic paraboloid, was precisely designed so the chips could stack without breaking. Procter & Gamble was impressed with the results and decided to move forward with the idea, but they ran into a problem. The chips were too fragile to be packaged in bags. So they created a package that would not only protect the chips during shipping but also keep them fresh longer. That's how the iconic cylindrical Pringles can was born. It wasn't until 1968 that Pringles were first launched, and they were an instant success. People loved their shape and unique flavor. In no time, they became one of the most popular chip brands in the world. Today, they're sold in more than 140 countries and come in over 100 different flavors, from the classics to some that only exist in very specific parts of the world. Each year, about 2.3 billion cans of Pringles are sold globally, generating over $3 billion. That's about 6 million cans per day or 73 cans per second. It's estimated that around 10 million chips are produced daily in the factories. But unlike other chips made from potato slices, Pringles are made from about 42% potato flakes and ingredients like rice flour and wheat starch. The process starts with harvesting the potatoes. When the potatoes are ready to be harvested, the fields look like a green carpet. That's when a massive harvester capable of picking up to 5 tons comes into action. The machine moves along the rows with powerful traction. Blades lift the potatoes from the soil along with a good amount of dirt and roots. Then they move onto a vibrating screening belt. This belt drops loose dirt and small stones while the potatoes continue onto the hopper. The whole system is designed to minimize impacts that could damage the tubers. Once the harvester is full, the massive load is transferred to a truck headed straight to the factory. This factory receives a delivery of 50,000 kilos of potatoes every day. Pringles potato flakes begin with large batches of fresh, high-quality potatoes. The potatoes are about to undergo an exciting transformation. As soon as they arrive at the factory, they are transported via conveyor belt to the washing station. But it's no ordinary rinse. They're submerged in a large tank where a hydro washing system agitates the water to remove all dirt and debris. Once clean, they're ready for peeling. They fall into a large drum line with a surface as rough as coarse sandpaper. As they tumble and bounce, the abrasive texture gently removes the skin, leaving the potatoes ready to become smooth, perfect Pringles. This machine can peel about 5,400 kilos of potatoes per hour. Once peeled, an operator inspects the white flesh for bruises or other defects. Next, they move along a conveyor to the cutting station. But first, they're briefly submerged in a blanching bath. This hot bath serves 2 purposes. It softens the potatoes for a clean cut and deactivates enzymes that could affect the flavor and color of the product. Then the potatoes are introduced into a rotating cylinder at 1,200 revolutions per minute. Inside are very sharp blades. The centrifugal force from the spinning throws the potatoes against the blades. First, they are sliced into strips, then another set of blades cuts the strips into small cubes. This process is extremely fast. In less than a second, a whole potato becomes tiny cubes. The cubes move along a vibrating belt to prevent clumping. Special cameras detect any imperfections or damaged areas. The next machine steams the cubes at around 174 degrees Celsius. When perfectly cooked, they're turned into a smooth, lump-free puree thanks to an industrial drum with a metal arm that mixes them continuously. Here's where the real magic begins. The puree is spread evenly onto a rotating drying drum and exposed to intense heat. The water evaporates, forming thin, flexible sheets. These dry sheets are ground into potato flakes, which are the base of the Pringles dough. Once the flakes are ready, it's time to add the other ingredients. In a large mixer, the flakes are combined with water, cornstarch, rice flour, wheat starch, corn flour, salt, and emulsifiers that stabilize the mix. The resulting dough doesn't look like bread dough but more like coarse, damp sand. Then the dough travels along a belt to an auger that spreads it evenly. Next, a giant roller presses it with 4 tons of pressure, flattening it to just 1 millimeter thick. At that point, it enters a rotary cutter that shapes the dough into ovals. The leftover dough isn't wasted, it's recycled and mixed back in. Then the shaped chips move toward the fryer, where they get their famous concave form that makes them easy to stack. A roller molds them into a hyperbolic paraboloid as they fry in oil at 200 degrees Celsius. The chips spend 11 seconds in hot oil until they become crispy. This sets their shape and gives them their golden color and characteristic crunch. After that, they are cooled with hot air at around 40 degrees, removing excess oil. Then they receive their signature seasoning on the top side. Each Pringle is seasoned precisely. Every day, 2,700 kilos of spices are used to coat the more than 160 available flavors. Thanks to their shape, the Pringles fall into perfect stacks, making packaging easier. A quality control worker inspects the Pringles for breakage, under-seasoning, or defects. Then they are weighed to ensure each can contain the right amount. An automated scoop drops them into the cans, and a system arranges them perfectly. Then a seal and a metal bottom are applied, hermetically sealing the can before shipping. The Pringles go through a unique test, a blind taste test to avoid visual bias. Tasters evaluate the cooking, texture, and seasoning, always placing the seasoned side face down on the tongue. If a single chip fails the test, the whole batch is discarded. Once quality control is passed, the cans are packed and distributed to logistics centers, stores, and supermarkets around the world. If you want to know how Cheetos are made, the link is in the description and in the first comment. Like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone who might find it interesting. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to keep learning.